لديها إمكانيات وقدرات مع التحالف الدولي عندما اختلطت بالتأكيد أصبحت ذو إمكانيات وقدرات عالية وخبرة أكبر.
The Iraqis is entering into a new phase where they're not at war. They've been to war many years. Now they're entering into a new phase where there's not a war, but we are transferring the armed forces into a peacetime organization.
يعني داعش منظمة إرهابية، وداعش هي إفرازات الإرهاب اللي انتشر في الفترة الأخيرة في كافة دول العالم، وداعش يمثل أخطر مراحل الإرهاب في العالم. يعني بالتأكيد الفائدة الكبيرة من العمل مع التحالف الدولي، أول هذه الأمور هو أولاً رفع قدرات وبناء القوات الأمنية العراقية. هذه القوات الأمنية العراقية بالتأكيد لديها إمكانيات وقدرات مع التحالف الدولي عندما اختلطت بالتأكيد أصبحت ذو إمكانيات وقدرات عالية وخبرة أكبر. أكثر من 70 دولة فيها جيوش مختلفة، لكل جيش إلى إمكانيته وقدرته وخبرته في القتال. عندما تعمل مع القوات الأمنية العراقية هذه الخبرات المجتمعة بالتأكيد راح تخرج بنتيجة أنه القوات الأمنية العراقية استفادت من عدة مدارس قتالية، وهذه المدارس وظفتها لصالحها واستطاعت بتضحياتها وبجهودها من النهوض بالواقع الأمني وكذلك دحر تنظيم داعش الإرهابي، وبذلك أصبحت لديها إمكانيات وقدرات عالية نتيجة لعملها مع المجتمع الدولي أو مع قوات التحالف الدولي.
We're here in the Iraqi Security Force Joint Operational Command Center, Iraq. This is the location that commands and controls all Iraqi security forces across federal Iraq. It's also the forward headquarters of the Combined Joint Task Force for Operation Inherent Resolve, which is the 78-nation coalition to maintain the enduring defeat of Daesh. All of the coalition locations in Iraq are now Iraqi bases. And so over the last 12 months, we've transitioned from coalition bases to Iraqi security force bases. We are hosted by them. They are our partners. We're here at their invitation. We have two primary maneuver platforms. We have a military advisory group and we have a special operations advisory group. And they advise at the operational level and they deliver capabilities to the Iraqis that are requested by the Iraqis. There are no operations that take place anymore in Iraq without the express permission of the Iraqi government. So we're here at their invitation, delivering capabilities they have asked for.
طلبت الحكومة العراقية من المجتمع الدولي أن يساعدها في مجال القدرات بالقوة الجوية، لأنه ما عندنا كانت قوة جوية الحقيقة. في مجال طيران الجيش كان طيران الجيش لا زال فتي، في مجال الاستخبارات والاستطلاع والمدفعية. وأثناء ذلك استجاب المجتمع الدولي للحقيقة قواتنا الأمنية وللحكومة العراقية، وأتت هذه القوات وساعدت القوات الأمنية العراقية اللي هي فقط قدمت لها المساعدة. وما قاتل من قاتل ومن قدم التضحيات هم القوات الأمنية العراقية، ولكن كان دعمهم ووجودهم في الدعم في مجال التدريب، في مجال التسليح، في مجال الضربات الجوية، في مجال الاستطلاع الجوي، في مجال المعلومات الاستخبارية مهم جدا، وأسهم إسهام كبير في الإسراع في عملية إحداث النصر اللي إن شاء الله تحقق على أيدي قواتنا الأمنية العراقية.
So advising, assisting and practice means that we bring highly specialist advisors from over 30 troop contributing nations here to the JOC Eye. They sit alongside their Iraqi partners every day and they help them deal with those complex and wicked problems that are caused by having an insurgency in increasingly complex terrain.
The military advisory group is given advice on all the different warfighting functions, as we call them, within the Joint Operations Center here in Baghdad. We are advising Iraqi staff officers, so that's the higher level, or the highest level they have here in Iraq, on an operational level.
Assisting doesn't mean providing them, the ASF, with coalition assets, not at all. What the MAC does is we assist them in using more effectively their own assets, aircraft, weapons, you name it. Recently we've started to have been invited in what they call target decision boards, where they discuss targets, and that's when we come into play. That's when we look at it with them and try and advise and say, hey, this is how we could do it, because based on the weapons you have, your inventory, these are the effects you can actually generate, and that would be really interesting on that specific target. So recently, after observing a set of targets in an area that is known for being the enemy's stronghold, and they briefed up their chain of command, and they decided to strike using different squadrons and different weapons without even telling us when what was going to happen. So a very independent type of decision-making process, which is a little victory, if you will.
Yeah, my name is Michael Ollesgaard. I'm a Lieutenant General, and I'm currently commander of the NATO mission in Iraq. First of all, I think we should start from the top. You know, we have agreed with the Ministry of Defense on some long-term objectives. What is it that we want to achieve? So we have, like, a little bit technical, we have like 14 long-term objectives that we are working in terms of training, in terms of human resources management, in terms of women, peace and security, in terms of anti-corruption and so on.
NATO mission in Iraq is to provide capacity building. So it is about long-term achievements. So we are focused on this and not on short-term achievements. Therefore, it's, let's say, crucial to involve our Iraqi interlocutors as much as possible.
How do you man a force? How do you equip a force? How do you train a force? And that's kind of our key element. And we're looking a little bit more ahead, longer term perspective.
Well, I think it's important to know that we are coming from 30 countries. In my office alone, there's 4 different nationalities, and we consist of both military as well as NATO civilians and civilians from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's the strength of our team.
Hopefully now Daesh will soon be defeated, and the Iraqis is entering into a new phase where they're not at war. They've been to war many years. Now they're entering into a new phase where there's not a war, but we are transferring the armed forces into a peacetime organization, which is another type of organization you need, another type of approach. We are focusing much more on training, on how to man correctly the units, and how to, again, rebuild the logistical systems.
Well, the benefits for the Iraqi, and we are focusing on the ministerial level, but it goes down to the service commands and the technical level as well. We are looking with them together for their shortfalls, so their needs. It's important to know that the NMI is a mission on request of the Iraqi government, so we're working together with their shortfalls and their needs, and it should be their solutions as well. So I'm very keen on working with them together on solutions. We've learned in the past that if we provide them with our solutions, that might not fit in their tradition or in their system, the way of thinking. So it's important to connect with them and do it together.
الآن القوات الأمنية العراقية أصبحت على درجة عالية من الإمكانية والخبرة والمرونة. الآن قوات الأمن العراقية اكتسبت خبرة في القتال، تدربت، لديها سلاح مختلف اختلاف كلي عما كانت عليه قبل عام 2014. أكبر دليل على ذلك يعني بدأنا نستلم المواقع، وهذه المواقع بدأنا كقوات أمنية عراقية إحنا نديرها، ونجحنا في إدارتها، ونجحنا في حاول داعش أن يقوم ببعض التعرضات، نجحنا في الصد هذه التعرضات، وكذلك أيضا نجحنا في تحقيق الأمن في كل المناطق. الآن اختلفت، الآن أي مكان في العراق احنا نروح له آمن. نعم تصير بعض الخروقات لأنه لا زالت خلايا موجودة، ولكن أنا الآن أستطيع أن أسافر من بغداد إلى البصرة، من بغداد إلى الموصل، من بغداد إلى الرطبة، من بغداد إلى أي مكان، وأنعم وأتمتع بالأمن والأمان اللي يقدمه القوات الأمنية العراقية. ولكن ما تبقى من هذه الخلايا الآن نقوم بالضغط عليها من أجل استئصالها والحقيقة منعها من أن ترجع مرة ثانية في العراق.
As a result of the US and Iraq strategic dialogue, there's an agreement that the coalition mission here will fully transition from a combat role to an advise and assist role by the 31st of December 2021.
We are happy to stay and to develop slowly and progressing with the agreed objectives that we have with the armed forces.
Personally for me, I would say the most rewarding thing is I grew up in a counterinsurgency environment. I grew up in Northern Ireland. I grew up with soldiers in the streets. I grew up with violence. I grew up seeing the effects of sectarianism. And when you come here to Iraq and you see that the people are rejecting sectarianism, they're rejecting the violence, it's hugely rewarding to see that. Because I think it's really important for people to remember that people just want to go to school. People just want to have a job. They just want to see their kids go to education. They just want to live their lives. They don't want to be encumbered by helicopters and tanks. We've got long relationships with the people of Iraq. We've got long friendships with the people of Iraq. The number of British passport holders that you see here, they're everywhere. People will always come up to you and talk to you about Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea. There's even people talk about cricket. So it's something that we should seize. It's our duty to pay it forward to them, and I genuinely take that really seriously, and so do all of the teams that are here as part of the CGTF OIR. That's really humbling.
الحقيقة بدعوة من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية اللي هي قادة التحالف الدولي، تشكل من خلال المجتمع الدولي أيضا، استطعنا من خلال هذا التحالف أن نبني قوات أمنية عراقية استطاعت أن خلال فترة 3 سنوات ونصف قواتنا الأمنية العراقية بعد أن تلقت التدريب والدعم وفي كافة المجالات أن تحقق النصر. وفعلا كحكومة عراقية وكشعب نقدم الشكر والعرفان لكل من ساهم في مساعدة قواتنا الأمنية وفي تحقيق النصر وساعد الشعب العراقي. أتمنى أن تنقل الرسالة إلى كل دول العالم بأنه العراق بلد آمن، بلد محب للسلام،